They are fearless. They were raising their fists and we will cause a revolution. And I was like, damn.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a group chat special edition recap.
Yes.
We are fresh off the plane from our trip to Washington, D.C., where we went for the March for Our Lives rally.
Yeah.
A really cool thing, because for us, this is one thing that I mentioned last week and I was really excited about, is we're very fortunate to go to a lot of cool events and go to things like Art Basel and Coachella and all these fun things. But one thing that we haven't done a lot of is going to these relevant marches, protests, presidential inauguration. We don't go to that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? This is one that we've been saying for a while that we wanted to go to something, and this felt like the one. This felt like the right one to go to. It felt like obviously a huge deal for the youth and for the culture and for what's going on in the country, and it felt like the right one to do. So we booked it, we went, and I will say that I was beyond impressed and enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether, to be honest, I didn't know whether there was going to be a lot of backlash, any violence.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was going to be sort of a messy operation. I didn't know what to expect. Yeah, but it was incredibly well done, safe, positive, great vibes, incredible experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think to even get, before we even got to the rally, I had a lot of anticipation and energy, kind of, unexpected. What's going to happen? Yeah. We actually got the privilege of spending time with the Katzenberg family on the way there. And if you don't know, Jeffrey Katzenberg, this is public, that he supported the March for Our Life campaign with a financial donation, and so did George Clooney and Scooter Braun,
Oprah, I think,
and Oprah and many other people. And we got to hear here's an older guy that is a billionaire that really, has seen political processes from all kinds of generations. Yep. And he really took it in, and he was just like, what these kids are doing is unbelievable. Yeah. And we're just here to help them organize. They're running the show. Yeah. And
the amount of logistics that they covered and handled. I mean, he was telling us how much it cost.
Yeah.
All the things that they had to handle and throw together in a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they were there to help support, and then it was all kids.
I love that the old people stay out of it.
Yeah.
And even the celebrities, you could have done without the celebrities. Yeah. I felt, give you a little recap. So we got to DC Friday night. Saturday morning, we woke up early. I think we headed to the march around 9:30 in the morning. Yep. The march was supposed to start at 12. And we walked there, and it was electric. Yeah. It was like going to the Super Bowl. Yeah. But for something that's going to change the world.
But if everyone was rooting for the same team.
Exactly. Yeah. And we thought there was going to be a lot of opposition. And we're walking from the Capitol, right in front of the Capitol, to probably a mile back. We walked up and down. Yep. And we just saw how many signs there were. How many, surprisingly, older people.
A lot.
No, I would say there's more older people than younger people.
100% there was.
Which got me excited, because they were here to watch a bunch of 16-year-olds.
What's funny is the roles were reversed, right? Usually you go to things like that and it's older people speaking, and then you hope younger people listening. Yeah. And they feel like they're preaching to the younger people. This time it literally felt like the young people were saying, enough is enough, this needs to change. And the older people in the crowd were sort of like, yes, I understand. Yeah. We need to do better.
And we walked up and down. It was loud. It was noisy. There was music. There was people chanting. And we were just taking in the signs. And then finally, as we were kind of trying to find our place to where to stand, we kind of settled somewhere in the midpoint of the entire place. I mean, wall to wall. I mean, there was no room.
No room.
You could not walk around. No. You were packed in like sardines. Yeah. And when they said we were starting, and I think... Andre Day was the singer that kind of started the whole thing. Yep. And then the one of the Parkland kids, Cameron, kind of opened it. Yep. It was silent. Yeah. I mean, literally, you're talking, I don't know how many people they estimated it when it was done.
I don't either.
Let's say it's between 500,000 and 750,000 people. Yep. Dead silent.
Yeah. And everyone's so engaged.
So engaged. We ultimately ended up standing and walking in that area for 6 hours. Yeah. Didn't say a word.
And
like we didn't even talk.
We didn't talk at all to each other. Didn't even look at each other. And the other thing is, we did run into about 5 people. There was 3 outside of the Trump Hotel and 2 alone, with signs for guns and for Trump and all this stuff. But like, they weren't being violent.
No,
they weren't. And really, even the 2 guys that were standing with the signs that said like, "We love guns" or whatever. We're getting a lot of people saying stuff to them, and they weren't breaking. You know, they were laughing it off. And I saw one guy go up and kind of try to have a bit of a like disagreement with him, and he disagreed back, and then they kept moving.
That's why I thought those guys were paid. I don't think that was real.
I don't know.
I felt like the NRA just threw a couple bucks and said,
"Why would you go so light?" You know, like why 2?
Maybe they couldn't find people that was doing it.
That's true.
What point are you proving in a moment like that? Like, stay away.
But those 2 guys looked. I'm talking about the 2 guys, not the ones in front of the Trump. But those 2 guys just seemed pretty authentic.
And the funny part was the rally ended at the Trump Hotel essentially.
Yeah.
Like everyone had to stand by, and that thing was barricaded like it was a fort.
Yeah. There was a line of cops. Yeah.
Yeah. You could not get anywhere near it.
Yeah. But it was cool, man, and it was like you said, it was dead silent. Everyone there was a group of older people in front of me, probably 60s.
Yeah, I think even older.
And they were locked in, man. And they were like debating over who each performer was.
Yeah.
And their reactions to every speech, because these people speaking were like, I was at Sandy Hook when this happened, and my sister died in the hallway. Like,
in
it's
Chicago.
Just like the craziest stuff. And man, these older people were so engaged. And I felt this feeling of like, we messed up.
Yeah.
Like I really did. I felt this older people feeling of like, man, we have to pay attention to what these kids are saying. We came up short for them.
Yeah. And you know, I went into this weekend thinking, you know what? This is going to be a powerful weekend, but I actually don't think anything's going to change.
Yeah.
And I spoke to other people like that as well. And like Davin from Diet Starts Monday, who's a DC local, who doesn't normally march, he was saying on a lot of things, but he saw us coming, and he said, I felt like I had to be at this. Yeah. Then Sonny, the young kid in our group who was a Virginia Tech student, there was tons of Virginia Tech people because of what happened there 10 years ago. And so it was interesting to see like a younger person's perspective versus ours. Ours is like, nothing's going to change. Yeah. And we're not even that old, and we had that bitterness already. Yeah. And I went into that feeling as well. And then we start hearing people speak. Yep. I mean, it was hard not to have a tear down your eye the whole time. Yeah. It was so emotional. Each kid's account, and the Parkland kids' account, I think the magic of the Parkland kids is they are fearless. Yeah. They said what everyone else wants to say. They literally took a page, and I hate to reference this in this type of topic, from Kanye, and said, you know what, I'm going to say what I want and what I believe in, and I don't care what the repercussions are. And that's the biggest difference. If I were to go up on that stage and they asked me to talk, I'm obviously liberal and I don't believe in what's happening, but I would never said the stuff they said. Yeah. They were raising their fists and we will cause a revolution. And I was like, damn.
Vote them out. I mean, in between every speech was a vote them out chant. Yeah. That just sort of went like the wave down the crowd. Yeah. You know, you could hear it coming. And you're like, all right, vote them out. Yeah.
And I don't normally believe in, I'll be honest, I'm pretty pessimistic. I don't believe in those types of radical changes happening in our society because I haven't seen that much happen. Yep. In with the exception of technology, there's not much changes in our lives. Yeah. And then I look at what I witnessed, and I saw the passion of like the girl Edna from LA, but her family. Then to me, the most impressive speaker, I know Emma Gonzalez kind of stole the show because of the 6 minutes of silence, and like, I don't know, she felt like a revolutionary, like, you know, Cesar Chavez type moment, or Che Guevara. But I felt the 11-year-old Naomi was unbelievable. Like to speak like that at 11, tell her story, keep herself poised. Yeah. And just, I mean, like, I was just like blown away. Yeah. And every single speaker was so poised, so well spoken. The Parkland kids had rage though. They were pissed. Yeah. Because they were like,
that was a month ago.
Exactly. And I think it was a right balance of stories where people pass from years ago, or their brother or their family member passed. Yeah. Whereas this guy was like, I'm sitting under a desk watching my friends get gunned down. Yeah. This is not happening again.
A month ago.
Yeah.
It's insane. I don't. And you also felt what I thought they did such an incredible job of. Whoever, I don't know who plans those things, like produces them and figures it out. But what they did that was so smart is they didn't restrict it to school shooters. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or crazy people with an AR-15 doing mass shootings. Mm-hmm. Like, they talked about gun violence as a whole. Mm-hmm. And so they had a lot of people from Chicago, which I thought was really good. Edna was from South Central LA. Mm-hmm. And even, Davin, I noticed Davin because he grew up, I think, in Kentucky. Yeah. And has witnessed and been a part of gun violence. Yeah. And so he felt really pumped that they addressed him also, right? Yeah. He's never been in a school shooting, he's never been around that stuff. And so you see it and you're kind of like, yeah, I know that needs to change. But what about these people who have been shooting and getting shot for years in inner cities and stuff like that? And so he really felt connected to that part. And I just thought they did such an incredible job at, like, not only is a Parkland kid talking that this happened to a month ago, but then there's this kid talking whose brother died 5 years ago, and it's affected him ever since. And his friends have been murdered and blah blah blah. Yeah, I just thought that the way that they made it a young people dying because of gun violence issue felt so much more like powerful.
Exactly, and I think the other stereotype with this type of non-school shooting gun violence is the type of people that are getting killed, and they highlighted this kid was on his way to college, he was a top of his class, student body president, he's walking home, gets gunned down. Why does he have to die? Not just like, oh, he's just a gangbanger and blah blah blah. They like, these are normal kids doing incredible things, and their life was taken for no good reason. And I thought, I just liked the way that it showed another side, because you know what? The problem with news is that it is, no matter Fox, CNN, whatever, they push whatever agenda they want to push, and they don't give you facts. And that's what this thing gave to me. And even just the statistics about voting, about veterans feeling on guns, all those things, it just became more apparent to me that, you know what, actually most people want change, but the news has you thinking otherwise. And like, it was just refreshing to see that they really painted a complete story of what's going on. And I really loved that the celebrities were the backstory. I really loved no politicians were involved. I mean, like,
it legitimately felt like the kids were running the show, and the adults and the celebrities were truly there to support them. Like, I loved even the fact that the photos that you saw of Kim and Kanye, they were in the crowd watching.
They're not sitting up backstage.
There's not like a jumbotron highlighting, oh, Kim and Kanye. Like, it wasn't. There was none of that. We didn't even know they were there until afterwards. But there were a lot of celebrities, a lot of people there that you didn't feel, it didn't matter. They were there supporting what really mattered. And then even you would see, like, Ariana Grande came out and performed, and then went and took selfies with all the kids, and they all crowded around her, and it really felt like they were doing
what they can to support.
And like, I feel like that's cool, because a lot of times that stuff gets lost in celebrity. And I know that all the far right, that's their critique. Right? It's celebrities telling you, it's gun-hating celebrities. And I feel like they did a really good job. I will say, though, the absolute star, in my opinion, was MLK's granddaughter.
Oh yeah, that was so epic.
She was so good.
How do you just grab? I don't know how old she was. She looked very young.
I think 11-ish.
You think she was that old?
Maybe not. Maybe 8.
Yeah, I don't know. She just seemed young. And she grabbed a mic, no thing, and had the entire gazillion world people chanting.
And did a chant 3 times.
Yes.
She did, we, blah, 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 we, blah, blah, and then a little louder, I can't hear you. And then did it again, and then said, is that all you got? Like, whatever, did it again. She was so good, man.
No, that was definitely the star. And I don't know, these kids are all very impressive, because everyone afterwards, when we're sitting at that restaurant, we're like, man, when I was 12, all I cared about was playing sports or like
video games.
These kids are like trying to change the world. And I mean, it's unfortunate how that we got here, because obviously a bunch of young people had to die, unfortunately, for this. And so I hope, and the problem is, it's such a screwed up world. I get home, I get back to the hotel, and I start reading the news. There are all the Fox News reporters, NRA folks attacking these kids. attacking David Hogg. This is what Hitler Germany started with. They took away your guns. Not one, just so people are clarified on the information, not one person said we're taking away your guns.
No.
Not one
It wasn't said once.
Not once. All they said was, we want to ban assault rifles and we want to raise the limit to 21. Yeah. That is it. Yeah. And they spread whatever narrative they wanted and said David Hogg is a revolutionist, he's a communist, socialist, he's going to take away your guns. You think David Hogg is going to take away your guns? Yeah. I mean, get out of here.
I'm legitimately, like, really, truly baffled that something like that could happen because we were there and we saw the energy and saw it, and that anyone could have anything negative to say. Yeah. Like, I'm mind blown. And the fact that these people are saying, like, we only know your names because your friends died. Yeah. If your friends hadn't died, no one would know who you were.
Yeah.
Like what? Like, I can't. It blows my mind.
And so what it really came down to, when it was all said and done, the thing I took away from it was voter registration and voter turnout. There was a stat they flashed on the screen that in the last election, first-time voters, eligible voters, only 18% voted.
Yeah.
That is going to be the difference this November and the next presidential election.
Yeah.
And in November, there are a tremendous amount of House and Senate seats that could flip the House and flip the Senate. These people have to vote.
Have to.
If they don't vote, this is all a moot point. And it's the same thing. I remember when we walked away, we're walking back, and I said, if Marco Rubio gets reelected, this whole thing was a waste. They went after him and attacked him. They kept using the stat. In Florida, he took $3 some odd million, and there's 3 some odd million students. So each student is worth $1.05. And I mean, they made it very clear. So if you support this person, that you're supporting against these kids. And I'll be very, very surprised to see if, after all said and done, if Marco Rubio is reelected. I don't know if he's up for reelection in November. I have to look that up.
Yeah, I wonder. But that'll be a big teller.
Yeah, I mean, because if you don't get out and vote, it just shows you, like, you actually, as a young person, or actually a citizen of a country, you actually do have the power.
Yeah.
But you have to exercise.
It's true, man. What I took away from it is that kids, I feel like right now get a lot of bad press, meaning, they're always on their phones, they don't care about anything, they're checked out, they're in their own world, they don't know what it means to hard work, all this stuff. That, which to a certain degree, starts to add up, and you start to feel like that is very true. And in some cases, it probably is. But the same way that it's happening in all these industries, music, and even with e-commerce, and all these different industries where the gatekeepers are being removed, and the people are making the decision, and the youth is deciding what music they want and what this and what that, not some old man who thinks he knows best. That happened last weekend with politics. It felt like
disrupted.
These kids are so smart. They're telling the adults what's going to happen. Like, I was mind blown by how well they all speak. There was not one issue. There was one girl whose eye was still black from shrapnel, from gunfire hitting her face.
Sang a poem.
I believe she got shot in the leg or something. And she threw up on stage. And she handled it like such a champ. And came back and said, I just threw up on national television and it feels great. And everyone rallied around her and she finished her thing and it was amazing. I just think what I took away is, like, man, these kids have direct access to people. With social media, and they can make things like this happen. This is possible, and as long as they follow through, like, anything's possible.
It was that's a great point. I really thought it was a disruptive experience for youth in politics. It's just going to come down to, you got to keep the energy and momentum come November. I mean, you saw people all over the country and all over the world participate in the march. You just can't, it's one of those things, is out of sight, out of mind, right? Like, if the election was tomorrow, we'd have an enormous turnout. But it's 6 months away. So, like, will you have that momentum and energy and excitement about change then? I really, really hope so, because, like, I always vote. So, like, for me, I understand that it is a privilege to be able to vote. But I think a lot of people, will always tell, I don't vote, I don't care. Like, literally, that still happens. And then you see a moment like this and you'd be like, you should care.
Yeah.
Like it does impact you in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Maybe the big topics don't. Oh, maybe immigration doesn't impact you because you're born here and your parents are born here. Yeah. But this could impact you.
Yeah.
You go to school and you get shot.
Yeah.
Or your kid or your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed, man. I thought it was great. I'm so happy that we went.
Yeah.
I thought it was above and beyond in every way.
Yeah.
What I expected.
And we stood there. I mean, we stood there for 6 hours and just like...
Yeah, we walked like 8 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you could just felt even the energy. Like we went and just took some silly pictures at the monuments and stuff like that. But all the kids were there and the energy and just... It just felt like youthful democracy.
Did you know what else? Small note is we walked by the White House at about midnight.
Yeah.
And every building in the city, every
single one
was lit up.
Yeah.
The White House had all the lights off. And I thought, number one, that's the stupidest, most offensive sign of how they feel about it.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, all around the White House, on the ground, up against the fences, were all the signs.
Yeah.
It seemed like everyone went from the rally over to the White House and like politely left their sign on the gate.
Said, you're going to read about this later.
Yeah. It felt good, man. That was a cool thing.
Yeah. I mean, but like no respect the White House has.
I mean, it's just like, come on, man. He didn't comment on it. They didn't say anything about it really.
I knew he wasn't
they released some, whatever statement. But to not even, you had the lights up. You couldn't see the White House.
Yeah.
It was literally just a dark
we couldn't see it
in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But we both got cool vlogs coming out.
Sure did.
Hopefully
should be out by now.
Yeah, it'll be out by now.
Yep.
Kind of recapping the whole thing.
We got to do it more.
Yeah.
I think it's important for us, like we said going into it, and we ended up, it sort of was what we thought it was. Like, we talk about this stuff a lot. We have a lot of comments to say. And we run businesses that sell products to these people, and I think that the more that we can go there and just show people what's really going on and what our experience is there, I think it's super valuable.
I definitely want to hit Wisconsin for the re-election effort of Paul Ryan. I want to see if he wins or not. I think that'd be super interesting.
I'm in.
We should go in October.
Deal. There it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out our videos of the rally. Support these kids.
Yeah. Go watch the videos if you haven't.
Yeah, get involved, man. If you haven't, you say, oh, it's not really for me, it's whatever, it is worth watching. Because if it doesn't motivate you, I think you have bigger problems.
Yeah. Really big problems.
I mean, come on. Anyway, there it was. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Peace and love. Put your guts down.